What's up? What it do, cyber world? It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Brown Uncensored Show. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So today is no different. Okay. We're going to go into some nostalgia, darling. Some nostalgia. All right. So these are from my 90s kids. You know, I grew up in the 90s. I'm an 80s baby. I grew up in the 90s. And I was talking to my baby sister about some of the trends and things that was going on in the 90s. And she was just like, Ash, really? Really now? That was happening. Really? So one of the first things was in the 90s, I was like, I think like 8 or 9-ish. And I had this best friend that we used to do a lot of stuff together. You know, we were both a little chunky, you know, a little extra, you know, a little poundage going on here and there, you know. So we would wear like similar clothes. We would get like cute little outfits and go to places together, go to like the mall or, you know, wherever little kids go, you know. And we were just like, that was our thing. And one of our things that we used to collect and exchange and, you know, share back and forth were these acrylic pacifiers. I don't know. Has anybody ever heard of those? I don't know. If you're out there and you know what I'm talking about, please reconfirm that I'm not crazy. All right. So back in the day, there used to be these acrylic pacifiers. And so, well, really they're resin. I would say they're probably more resin than acrylic. But they were these clear pacifiers that obviously were hardened. And so they would put like little like string, some of that, what do you call that? It's not like yarn, but it's like the shiny, I can't think of the name of the word for it, but they would be on string. And so they would have, it was like the happening thing. I don't know what it was, but it just picked up and these pacifiers were everywhere. So anytime that I would go somewhere and I would see some, I'm like, oh my gosh, mommy, please, can I get this? And can I get one for my friend? And so vice versa, when she saw some that were really cute because they were different styles, they were different colors, they were different sizes. And so that was like a big thing. But I shared this with my little sister the other day and she was like, pacifiers? Really, Ash? That's what you guys were doing? I was like, you had to be there, okay? It was in the moment. You had to be there, all right? The acrylic pacifiers were so freaking cute. I'm saying acrylic, but I don't even know if it was acrylic. It may have been just resin. Either way, they were just super cute and they just went with your outfits. You know, if you had a green outfit that day, you wore your green pacifier. If you had a pink outfit, you had your pink pacifier. But yeah, she thought I was totally and completely out of my mind talking about these freaking pacifiers. And so me and this best friend, we kind of parted ways for middle school because the middle school that I was supposed to go to, my mom felt it was not safe for me. And in retrospect, looking back, yeah, I probably wouldn't send my kid to a middle school that had a drive-by. Probably wouldn't do it. So I was very disappointed because, you know, she was one of the main reasons why I wanted to, you know, stick with her because this is my best friend, right? We had been through so much stuff together. She taught me about sex. That was so super awkward and weird. See, this is where people have to be careful who their children befriend because some of these kids out here are bad influence, all right? Which would probably make sense, you know, later on down the road in the story. But no, she taught me about sex because in my opinion, at 8, sex to me was you put Barbie next to Ken in the bed. That's sex. There we go. She went and took it a step further and illustrated Barbie on top of Ken and vice versa. And then giving very detailed information about the actual act that I was completely thrown off from. I was like, whoa, what the heck is that? What do you mean this happens? So it was a very eye-opening situation because at 8 years old, this girl's telling me that she's had sex and she's describing it. At that point, I'm petrified because I'm like, oh my gosh, you just completely just exploded my brain. And I'm just not okay. Not okay. So further on, we go off to middle school. I go to a Christian school. She goes to the drive-by central of Decatur. And we then, the following year, the middle school that was closer to me, that was brand new, that I was allowed to go to, she ended up going to as well. And y'all, when I tell you the difference in a year, okay, we went from, matching outfits and cutesy dresses and skirts and stuff to, I get to the middle school and I'm dressed in just what I think is just regular teenage attire. At that time, I'm like 13, about to be 14. Yeah, so I'm about 13 at that time. And I see her and she's booty hanging out, breast propped up, all in full view. And I'm like, is this the same person? Like, no more pacifiers, huh? We ain't wearing no more pacifiers. And you could tell immediately we were just in two different places, two completely separate and could not be related to worlds. It was just completely different. And I wasn't trying to catch up with her world. And she looked at my world as lame and, oh, Ash is this, Ash is that. Ash is not about to be pregnant in high school. How about that? We can't say it for baby girl because I believe she dropped out of high school, had about 2 kids, I think, and while she was there. I mean, hopefully by now things are better and life is on the straight and narrow, all that good stuff. But it just goes to show you got to really be careful who your kids befriend, because there are some really advanced individuals out there that will mislead your child and take them down a crazy path. Because now I look back at it now, you know what? We needed that year apart. And in retrospect, she was on a whole different level for me. I'm just a sweet, angelic, I'm going to church and I sing in the choir. She was not going to church and she was not singing on the choir. Not to say that makes a person better. It does not. But it may lead them to maybe a more tasteful future. Just saying. Not saying, but I'm saying. But like I said, it all comes back to pacifiers. So the acrylic pacifiers, they were cool. I loved them. I had all kind of different colors and just variations of it. And my sister thought that I was crazy. She's like, Ash, really? Never tell anybody about that. The acrylic pacifiers, now I got to go find one. Post it in the description so y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not making them up, all right? They were trendy in the 90s. I'm not saying they're going to make a comeback. I'm not saying that. It would be really cool if they did, though. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a great week. Fruitful week. Prosperous week. Peaceful week. Productive week. All right? Keep pushing forward no matter what. And if you're not already following me across social media, I am the One Love Ash. That is one, the number one, LOVEASH. All across social. I'll holler at y'all next week. Deuces.